What's going on, everyone? Today I got for you another weekly comic book roundup for the June 15th week, which was last week, because I'm getting slow at this, but working on it. Up above, I'm going to try to put up a little tab so you can pick whichever comic review or discussion you want to hear, and, hop around if, maybe not all of them interest you, but if you really like me, you'll stick around and watch all of it just because you just want to hear what I have to say. So with that, let's get started with the first one, and probably the most anticipated one of this week, the Titans Rebirth comic issue 1. And what's great about this is that we finally see more Titans, and we see Wally West back with them. And this comic, I'll admit, doesn't have too much going for it in terms of what happens in the actual story, but it's just a really kind of nostalgic kind of comic where we see Wally West meet up with the Titans, who obviously don't remember him, and through the course of the comic they begin to remember him individually, and you see all these flashbacks, and you see all these kind of like personal kind of like connections that the characters have with them, and you see a lot of the characters' personalities clash, and see what kind of memories they had with Wally West, and you kind of just see that everything's coming together, and the Teen Titans per se are coming back, and yeah, not they didn't set up a villain, they didn't set up what the plot's going to be, but the fact that everyone's back together and everything, it's just a fun comic to read, and it was pretty solid. So I'd say definitely pick this one up if you get a chance. It's a funny story. It was actually, when I went to the store, I only saw one issue left of this, and this was, on Wednesday at like noon, and I ran and grabbed that last issue, because I saw somebody looking at it, bashing his eyes, and as soon as he looked away, I grabbed it, and I was like, gotta be quicker than that, I'm sorry, but hey, no harm done. It was a good issue. Going into the next one, we have Green Arrow, Rebirth issue 1. And like I said with the startup of this whole Rebirth series for Green Arrow, I think it's really good and one of the best of the, bunch solo kind of comics that they have right now for the Rebirth series. What this really focuses on well is those underground kind of creepy looking people that you can see. It's reversed right there. And where they're stealing people and stuff like that. But what gives this comic so much fun is that you see some quality action. The art's amazing. Green Arrow's quirky as ever. He's throwing jokes, but he's also being serious at times he has to be. The writing's really well done, and they actually have romance building up, because it's kind of like Black Canary and Green Arrow kind of there. And they actually have a solid romance building up, such, little conflicts here and there. So, regardless if you're a Green Arrow fan, like I said last time, definitely pick this one up. It's $2.99. It can't hurt. Definitely a great read. Moving on, we have the Green Lantern storyline. So pretty much with this Green Lantern Rebirth issue 1, we have the two new Green Lanterns, as you can see here. And what's so great about this is that it's a fun, refreshing take on them, because these guys are not professional per se. They know what to do. They know kind of like how to use the lantern. They have some sense of responsibility, but they're still very naive and very childish in terms of their acting, their bickering against each other. And it's just really fun to see these two new personalities that are not so stoic, to say, that we see a lot of the Green Lanterns as, a little more personality than, some of the other Green Lanterns show lately. And just a great read, some great action in here. And the biggest thing about this is, without any spoilers, they set up some big danger and a big cool enemy that actually looks like it has a lot of potential to have a really big and expensive storyline while following these two characters that are really interesting. In addition, the art in this is great, because Green Lantern, different colors and everything really pop on the pages, and it looks great. Great read, definitely pick it up. Going off next, I'm going to go with the Batman Rebirth issue 1, and like I said last time with Batman, the first Rebirth issue, I wasn't a crazy big fan of it. It was okay, but with this one, I'm still kind of in that middle, but this one at least set up more that I'm excited for. Honestly, not really a spoiler, but the whole issue is just basically Batman saving a plane that's about to crash in Gotham, and that's it. It's kind of cool the way he goes about it and sees, how Batman would handle like a plane crashing, because Superman would just go pick it up, Green Lantern would go just grab it, and that's even like brought up in the comics. But the best thing about this is these two characters you see here, which I won't reveal anything about them, but you learn about who they are. Well, you don't learn who they are, you just learn a very small snippet about them and what they can do, and that's really what gives me some excitement that this series has some potential going on and could be really interesting. So I won't say a must buy for this one, but if you're into Batman, which almost everyone who reads comics is, pick this one up. Going to my second to last DC comic for the week, we have the Superman Rebirth issue 1. And I have to say, even though I wasn't a fan of the last Superman, the first Superman Rebirth issue, where I said honestly nothing happened, but not even necessity really to get it, unless you're collecting it. This one was surprisingly good. It's going off the relationship of Superman and his kid, and it's just really cool to see Superman as a dad and just kind of handling the responsibility and actually being quite a good father to a kid who's really kind of going some of the struggles he probably saw as a kid, that his parents try to have to handle, where he has power, but he has to hide them, where he has to learn how to control them, and Superman's just doing the best he can. And this is really a internal kind of smaller story where it's mostly about Superman and his family, his life as Superman, and as a husband, as a father, as everything. And as a personal story of Superman, I'm kind of liking it. And even though I said the last one maybe wasn't as interesting, I definitely say this is a pickup if you're a Superman fan. Don't expect a lot of action. That's not what you're going to get into this. But if you want to see a cool story, cool personal story of Superman, definitely get this guy. Pick this guy up. Going to the last DC one of the week that I picked up, we have The Dark Knight Returns, The Last Crusade, which is just kind of like a standalone thing. Pretty much what it is, it's goes back into the Dark Knight Returns times, but it's like a kind of prequel, still showing Batman in his later days, but not, when he's super old, like in the comics, probably like towards his early retirement, and shows him with Jason Todd, and it shows Joker in jail. And basically, this is, as you expect with Dark Knight Returns, maybe not all action and everything. It's more of just like a more psychological, like thought-provoking kind of thing, where Joker has a lot of quotes that really just show his psyche, his philosophy on life, and the difference of things. One of his biggest quote in this comic is, it even says in the back, is wolf, sheep, what's the difference? Stuff like that. Where if you read it, it really kind of shows just how crazy and steep and just how psycho Joker is. And with that, even though Joker is the focal point of the cover, there's a lot. It's mostly Batman and Robin, and just some great stuff. There is some cool action in it, and it has some evolutions of kind of how some of the characters got to where they were going, and some foreshadowing for other things. And not a huge storyline here. It was just kind of a one-shot kind of thing, and just showing a little more background. But it's a really cool. If you really like these characters, if you like Jason Todd, if you like the Joker, if you like Batman, pick this one up. It is on the expensive side. It is $7 for this. Maybe you can find this cheaper later on. I won't say you have to read it right now, but at some point, if you do like the Dark Knight Returns storyline, I'd say it is worth the pickup. Going to the Marvel ones, the biggest Marvel one I probably picked up was the second issue of Civil War 2. And I have to say, even though I was kind of skeptical, as most people are, about Civil War 2, because it looks like a cash grab, the storyline is not the most original, I have to say this one is pretty good. So pretty much, as you can kind of guess by the cover, Iron Man steals Baculus, is the kid who can see the future. And from there, just more tension rises. And this isn't as eventful as the first issue, but this one just kind of furthers the storyline and does it in a way where we see a lot of dialogue, a lot of more build-up, and some quality foreshadowing for what's to come. Can't say much without spoiling it, but just what's coming in this Civil War, in the second Civil War, and how it's going to shape up is actually looking to be a lot more different than just two enemies clashing heads, and then they're like, okay, well, my bad. It's not going to be that simple, and I think it's going to be a lot. And honestly, I'm liking this setup a lot more than I did the original Civil War comics, which I think were really rushed and kind of sloppy. So honestly, even if you've been skeptical about Civil War 2 issues, I would say give it a chance. Pick up the first issue if you haven't already. And if you like that, get the second one and keep on going, because I think this actually has a lot of potential to be great. And wrapping up the week, I have the Han Solo by Marvel, in the first issue of this five issue series that they're going on. And this one is basically Han Solo. I believe it takes place right after episode 4. In between 5, during that what is it? Is it 1 year? No, it's 3 years. During that 3-year gap, and it's just Han Solo kind of living his life outside of the rebellion because he hasn't been, a big member of it yet. Gets called in by Leia, and basically he's gonna be part of a race. And I have to say, this one, even as a pretty big Star Wars fan, I won't say I was crazy interested. Nothing in here really dragged me in or really got me to want to read the second issue much more. Yeah, there is that quirky, Han Solo being Han Solo, a little bit of romance with Leia, kind of bittersweet. But if you're a big Star Wars fan, you just want to see everything that happens in every part of the official expanded universe, pick it up. But other than that, not much. A lot set up in this chapter. Basically, a big race is going to happen. It's going to have a lot of obstacles and stuff. But there's not much tension when I know kind of Han Solo's going to get out of it okay. If you want to see a cool race with some cool looking aliens and probably some cool action, maybe pick up the later issues of this when it comes out. Right now, I won't say it's a must buy unless you really want to see that. With that being said, that's the end of comics I bought. Quite a few good ones. Like I said, the biggest ones I'd say to pick up are definitely the second Civil War issue, and the Green Lantern and the Green Arrow comics. Great right now. Looking forward to everything else that has to come. And I know this one went on a little long. Trying to shorten these up, make them quicker and more. Let me know what you guys think of these tabs on the top if I actually get that done. And thanks so much for watching. I'll try to keep up with these a lot more consistently, rather than almost a week late. So thanks for keeping up, and see you guys next time.